Going on, everybody? Today we're going to talk about a few things here. First and foremost, whenever you're going to be using a knife in a kitchen, I don't want you guys listening to anyone that says, oh, it doesn't have to be super sharp. Yes, it does. I understand where you're coming from. Super sharp means that it can cut you easier. Yes. But if it's not super sharp, when you're cutting said vegetables, you may slip because of the dullness of the blade and actually cut yourself worse than before because you're using a lot more pressure. So always make sure to use a honing blade right here. Honing rod comes in different forms. The circular form is what everybody's used to. They come with most blocks when you're buying a knife set. I find that the diamond is a much better sharpener, honer. Actually, you're not doing any sharpening with a honing rod. You are actually just honing the blade into sharpness. If you're going to be looking for something that actually can give your blade sharpness because of how dull it has gotten over the years, you're going to need a block, a whetstone most likely, where you can actually shave it down. And if you have nicks, that's where you're going to be able to deal with the nicks. So in order to use a honing rod, start from the bottom, sharp blade facing your hand. Make sure your hand is behind the guard, and then you're going to drag it because you want the honing rod to be going this way on the blade at first. So, like that, and then with a diamond, you can feel the roughness. It's actually honing it better than a rod. Once you get good, you'll be able to do this much easier and much faster. And to finish it off, I always go once or twice this way, just to get a better hone on the blade. I recommend wiping it down, make sure there's no excess. Now, when cutting a normal pepper, most people will cut the top off, cut the bottom off, and then slice what's left over. A much easier way to cut a pepper is to hold the pepper from the stem, put the blade as close to the green, and then just cut straight down. Just like that. And then just work your way all the way around it. And then what you're left with is the nub and the top with most of the seeds. Now, a lot of people don't know this when slicing peppers, but this white part in here, you should cut out of all peppers. It's what makes the pepper bitter. And then you're ready to dice or slice in either way. Now, when slicing, some people like to slice on this side, which you definitely better have a sharp blade for, because the skin on a pepper does require a little pressure, not when you have a sharp blade. Others like to use this side because it's easier to get through and then cut the skin on the other side. Either way, you're going to be fine unless you're using a dull blade. So that's how you would go about slicing it. To go about dicing it, you just do the same thing with slicing, and then you continue the other way. And depending on how big of a chunk you want, depends on how much you're going to be cutting. And there you go. Now you have some diced pepper. The onion is a different ball game altogether. A lot of people, when they're saying dice an onion, keep an end on. This way you're using it to hold on to. I don't do it that way, and I'll show you why. Now, the end pieces of vegetables, if you're going to be cutting a lot of vegetables, don't throw them out. Throw them in a pot with boiling water, get out all the nutrients, all the flavor from those end pieces that you see here, and that will be the beginnings of a soup stock once you strain it, or it could also provide help in a demi-glaze. So let's get rid of that. Put that to the side for later. Cut it right down the middle. And now you have two separate halves. You can save this piece, really fight with the skin to get the one piece. I don't. Time is money in a kitchen, so the more time you spend on it, the less valuable it is. Again, use this for your vegetable stock. Now, when slicing an onion, and you just want onion slices for, say, Philly cheesesteak, the simple slice is to go this way, where you can actually put your fingers on the outside without it sliding off, but you're not going to do that. What I want you to do is hold the onion to where you want to start slicing, and make sure the blade can never cut your fingers. Tuck your fingers in and protect those, because it could be a very bad day for you. So you're just going to go straight down. Depending on the thickness, depends on how far you want to go. But notice how I can't cut myself because I have my fingers tucked in. Now when you get to this point, just tip it over. And there you go, you have your sliced onion. Don't worry about it sticking together like this. You don't have to separate it out here. When you put it in a pot and it heats up, they're going to separate much easier when you mix it all together. Now, for dicing an onion, I do things quite differently, and I found that people that are amateurs in cutting and need to learn a nice, safe, easy way to dice their onion, because dicing an onion requires you to get very small, you start the other way. Not the way that I was slicing it, you start this way. And you work your way down the onion. Eventually you get it all cut. But for this video, I'm just going to do this quickly. You turn the onion on its side so it's flat. It can't go anywhere. Most chefs would just start doing it like this and dicing it all up. As a matter of fact, they would have kept the end on. They would have sliced through this way and then diced it this way so it stays together. It does tend to fan out and you can cut yourself. This way is much safer. Now, starting on the corner, just easily go through and you're left with diced onion. You can work your way all the way around as if you're cutting a pizza. And because it's flat, even when you get to the end, it works. So there you have it. You have sliced onion, you have diced onion. I showed you sliced pepper and diced pepper. You also learned how to hone a blade. I hope this video helps.